Hello everyone, it's Yubi from Fairlight Tarot. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to do an unboxing because I've got a couple of decks that just came into my collection and I thought why not doing it together with you and sharing my first impression. So the first one here is the Tree Spirit Oracle. It's a special edition of the Tree Spirit Oracle by Mags. I know that now I think, I hope I'm wrong, but I think that they're all sold out. I don't know whether there's going to be a reprint, most likely, or at least hopefully. And this is what came from Mags with the deck. Now, I've ordered this deck together with a friend of mine. She's also a Starlight member. And she sent me a couple of things that I'm going to share with you. They're absolutely lovely. But this one came from Mags and it's really beautiful. I mean, you can tell this has been handmade. Look at how nice this drawing is. I really like it. So she sent this through together with the Oracle decks, with the decks that we got. And so that's a really lovely message from Mags. And we've got a couple of things here, so I think she just picks these and then puts them inside the cards when she sends out the deck. So we've got a really nice heart with a few mushrooms in a basket. Now, I used to go mushroom hunting with my dad when I was little. In the Alps in Italy, and it's something that has always been really close to my heart. Not just the activity of going mushroom hunting, but the fact that it was the one thing my dad and I had in common, that we both really liked hiking and bushwalking in the Alps, and he had a passion for finding mushrooms, and I kind of learned how to distinguish the poisonous one from the ones you can actually eat. Or at least, you know, the ones you can find in Italian Alps. I know that there's different mushrooms everywhere, so I wouldn't call myself an expert, and I wouldn't go mushroom hunting because I really wouldn't know how to differentiate them. But it was kind of nice. It was a really nice activity. So I do associate the heart with the mushroom hunting because it did, at least at that point in my life, it did respond to that really strong sense of affection towards my dad. And then I've got the deer. So symbolizing gentleness, grace, and compassion, the deer encourages us to approach life with softness and kindness, embracing the nurturing aspects of our nature. So obviously this is referring back to the spirit animal as the deer. It is not my spirit animal, but I always appreciate the possibility to look at different animals and different meanings to their symbology. And then we've got this really beautiful castle. That's a very nice image on a castle. See, I really like these kind of things because I do journal. I have a paper journal, and when I get these things from creators, I always make sure to do some kind of a interview with the deck, and then I journal about it, and then I if I do indeed have these kind of goodies that have arrived together with the decks, I also put them in the journal together with my first impressions. And let's have a look, because I know that this is a special edition of the Tree Whisper Oracle, and I've seen a couple of images because this deck has arrived to this friend of mine first, and then she sent it over to me. I believe it arrived from the UK, and honestly it didn't actually take that long. I'm surprised at the differences in shipping, and I know that I always I seem to be saying this a few times, but it does take less from the UK to Australia than sometimes from Perth to Sydney, and Perth is in WA, so in Western Australia. So sometimes it is really bizarre. You know, these not just the rates as in the prices of shipping, the cost of shipping, but also the delivery times. So this deck comes wrapped in a really lovely paper. And it really gives you the idea of the handmade, you know, the fact that the deck has been handmade, and it's something that really respects the origin of this creation, and also the fact that it does refer to, you know, the love and the passion of the creator when they do these kind of things. So, Tree Whisper Oracle, this is the Dream Traveler Travelers, actually, sorry, edition by Maggie Black or Max. And so what have we got here? It's a tuck box, and this says at the back, as gentle sleep and choose our flight, we travel through the folds of light and awaken in the hidden realm, this mysterious place we know so well. We cross the river of eternal night to the lands of aurora skies and dusky twilight. Walk slowly, listen softly. That is really touching. I really love this. You know how much I love aurora skies, so the northern lights. Whenever there is a card or a poem, like in this case, or even a book or a photograph or a film, you know, a video that shows the northern lights, my heart just sinks. It is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my entire life. Related not just to travel, it is something really poetic, but it does also have a lot of lore, folklore and stories. And I always tell about the story about when I saw the northern lights in the above the Arctic Circle in Arctic Norway, and the fact that the Sami tribes attribute the northern lights to the coming of a spirit into the world with as a shapeshifter, and that it becomes a fox. And I saw a fox the night that I saw the northern lights dancing in the sky. We also crossed paths with a fox. In any case, so this is the website, just in case you want to check it out. But as I said, I am pretty sure that unfortunately even these have sold out, but as always there might be a reprint, you never know, so keep your eyes on the price, because you may be lucky, you might get lucky. So it is a rather large deck. Let me just show you. I've got here the tarot bot from Michael Murdoch, and it is a standard tarot size, so I'm just gonna show you one card to show you the difference between these two. Walk slowly, listen softly. So it is rather wider and quite a fair bit taller as well from your standard tarot size, which is absolutely fine. It is an oracle deck, therefore obviously does have a different use than a tarot deck. I don't mind when an oracle deck is slightly bigger than a tarot. It's absolutely fine. And as a matter of fact, because I absolutely love the images, I'm happy that the cards are bigger because I can see them even better. So we have this amazing kind of photography. This is all original photos taken by Mags, and she actually applies this mirroring kind of effect to the photos, so they are very recognizable. If you have ever seen any of her decks, I believe there is at least 3 other editions. So if you've seen any of those, you will recognize this style. So we also have at the bottom of the card a is it keywords? Yes, it's keywords. So it's titles, but they become keywords. Let me just zoom in a bit just to show them a bit better, because they are big, but it's always better when I can show you by zooming in. So we got, sorry, this one here, we've got Dream Travel, and by the way, these are the bags. They are reversible, just so in case you want to use reversal. And I have to say, I love this cardstock. It reminds me a bit of the same cardstock as the Oracle of Echoes, for example. It is very soft, very buttery, not as much as the US Games cardstock from the 80s. But it does have a very similar, it's getting there, let's say, it's very similar to that. It's probably a bit thicker. Generally speaking, I like it when a larger oracle deck or tarot, for matter, it doesn't matter, when they are slightly thicker, because what happens is that the bigger you get, for the law of physics, obviously the wobblier the cards become. And so I actually do prefer when you have a slightly thicker kind of cardstock. So moving on, we've got Memories, we've got Hidden, Instinct, Attunement, Wanderlust. Look how beautiful these cards are. I mean, I absolutely love the fact that there are faces. You can literally read the bark, the tree bark, as if you were looking at a photo. It's almost like a Rorschach test, you know, those tests that They present you some splotches of colors that have been mirrored, and you're supposed to look at them and without thinking too much, just come out with the first word that you associate with that specific thing, that specific design you have in front of you. I'm not saying that this is the same kind of vibes, absolutely not, but they do kind of remind me of that in a way. Time dilation, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. You see, I absolutely love winterscapes. Winter is probably my favorite seasons, even though I have to say summer is probably a close contendant. And I just love the fact that there is snow in these cards, because snow is a very powerful element to me. I do associate snow with really good memories, a sense of calm and peace. And so I really like that I can find snow in here. And obviously now, because of Murphy's Law, all of the cards that I'm actually looking at are without snow. I believe that they might be divided in different suits, perhaps. Because at the beginning we could see, my goodness, look at this, it looks like a person. It's crazy. And this is the neck, and the head is here, and the chest, and the two arms, and then the torso. Oh, some of these cards, and this one as well. I mean, I am very well aware that I was saying that it's not the same thing as a Rorschach test, but I am doing exactly the same thing, am I not? I'm just trying to find symbols and echoes of something in the cards. Really beautiful though, and I have to say the keywords actually resonate a lot. This is the only deck that I've got in this series, let's say the Tree Whisper Oracle, and it really does bring a lot of let's say it brings my intuition to a deeper level. So this is going to be a learning deck as well, because I really do like to look at the images and think about them, and then associate the keywords to them and try and understand what the process was of the creator when she produced this, when she created this. Really, really gorgeous. There is the snow in the backs, by the way. I wasn't dreaming about them. And let me say, originally we got interested in this deck. It's got a lot of cards, by the way. We got interested in this deck because we bought a tarot that we believed pair up really nicely with this deck, and I'm going to show you right now. So we're obviously talking about this, Remembering the Sweet Fool Tarot by Tricia Murray. And I used to pair it up with this oracle deck, which is called A Dose of Reality Oracle Deck by Kalarna Ella, and the artist is Todd William Deering. I have to say though that this oracle deck, I'm just going to show you very quickly, is very similar. It feels very similar to the Tree Whisper. It does have a very similar kind of vibe because of what I can recognize to be the same photographic effect. However, I am not entirely sure, simply because I have not checked it. I haven't double checked. But you see what I mean. So there is an image that is mirrored. So the right side or the left side have actually been mirrored into the other side to feel the image, the space of the image, which is exactly the same technique that's been used here. But not all of these cards, as you can see, not all of these cards have that technique. There is, however, I believe there is a very similar vibe to these two decks. Even though the energies, I do feel like we're looking at very similar kind of vibes. I do recognize, however, that there's a lot of cheekiness that comes after, that comes from the A Dose of Reality Oracle. There's a lot of cheekiness because it is one of those decks that wants to hit you and shock you and shake you, let's put it this way. And so in that sense, it's actually completely different from the Tree Whisper Oracle, which is very peaceful, very calm, very paced, very contained in a way. So as I said, probably we can recognize the similar techniques, but when it comes to the energy of the deck, we're looking at completely different decks. And I'm quite happy that I have both of them, because I have the feeling that using them together with the Remembering the Sweet Fool is going to be even better. So what I'm going to try and do is exactly that. So we've got obviously a larger deck, which is the Tree Whisper Oracle, and I'm just going to leave it there in the middle. And then we are going to put on the side, we're going to put the Dose of Reality Oracle deck, and we're going to use the Remembering the Sweet Fool Tarot on the right. And so let me do it this way. I have no idea if this is going to work, but this is the beautiful thing. What I like about first impressions is that you can actually allow yourself to make mistakes. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It is part of who we are. Sometimes we're human. We are literally trying stuff out. And if it works, all the better. If it doesn't work, then so be it. We're moving on to different things. But no one is, no one is regretting trying stuff when there's no harm in doing so. So obviously, because I'm pairing up 2 Oracle decks and 1 Tarot deck, we need to be careful, mindful on what keywords we want to use, if we want to use the central one in this case, or perhaps the one coming from the Dose of Reality. But when we do decide that, we need to understand that depending on which deck we choose, we'll have a completely different kind of message. So the Dream Seed is a keyword that is associated with the Tree Whisper Oracle, but also the fear comes from the Dose of Reality. And the Ten of Points, which is, I believe, points is swords, so the Ten of Swords from the tarot card. Now, obviously, this is a very powerful message. It seems to be telling me that there is a sense of fear that is stemming out of this kind of dreaming. When we implant a seed of fear, of doubt, of trouble, of something that really destroys our reason, so the rational mind, we can see how fear takes a hold of us, and then obviously it leads to the total destruction, because it doesn't have any other powerful and positive energy at play. So I feel that we've got something here. We've got something. Again, this is a very first impression, so obviously I haven't been working with these 3 decks together. This is the very first time. And but I do believe that we've got something. We're onto something. We are looking at a bit of a miracle happening. I love seeing these things. I love the fact that when we just witness what's happening right now, 1, 2, or even 3 decks corresponding, sharing their energy, having a chat together, it's always very humbling for a tarot reader, or at least for myself it is, because I always understand that I'm just there because I'm the one that is literally just flipping the cards. And so my role in this is to be quiet and listen to the message and try and understand it. And then if I'm reading for someone, also if I'm reading for myself, then my role becomes the one of the interpreter, and after that the one of the storyteller, because I need to tell the story back to whomever is listening, which is something that I really love to do. So really, really powerful messages coming out of these cards together. Very, very happy that I've got these. Let me just try something else, because I know you're all wanting me to try the Death Doula Oracle, and I'm gonna do that. So let's see how it will pair up with that deck, which is very beautiful. So here it is, the Death Doula Oracle. Very beautiful deck. Very potent deck. One of those decks that really you need to be certain that you want to use it, because the messages are very powerful. Let me just make some more room, because I think that otherwise we won't be able to fit all these 3 decks, especially because the 2 Oracle decks are on the larger side. And just for you to know, I think that we've actually found the same size. Is it the same size? It looks like it's a sliver. Okay, it's just a sliver wider, but when it comes to the length, and also it's a sliver Tola. But just for you to have an idea, if you do have the Death Doula Oracle, it is 99% the same size as that deck, just to give you an idea of a benchmark for the Tree Whisper Oracle. My goodness, how intense and powerful this is. This is amazing. We got family with new narratives and the daughter points. Wow. Such an intense energy, and it really forces you to listen, doesn't it? It really, really does. Obviously, again, we need to be mindful of which keyword we need to read, because we do have 2 oracle decks. But it doesn't matter if we leave room to our intuition and we look at this. So it says sensuality out of the Death Doula oracle, and then intelligence from the Tree Whisper oracle, and then fortune, or the Wheel of Fortune, out of the Remembering the Sweet Fool tarot. So we've got these going up and down. Whatever is up needs to come down, and vice versa. The cycle of life that comes out of the Wheel of Fortune from the tarot card. But in order to understand this, we need to apply this kind of intelligence. There is a knowledge of things that always comes into play in order to be able to understand what it is indeed right now that is happening. Is it up? Is it down? What are the next things that are going to happen in our lives? And then there is obviously a sort of a announcement, a sort of a saying out loud that there is so much life to it. The sensuality of life itself is so ripe and so strong and powerful, and it comes after the completion of the cycle of life in the Wheel of Fortune. So I really, really like these 3 together. It feels like they have this message that they want to deliver, and they certainly make themselves be known. The thickness of the deck is different, so obviously we'll have, if you want to keep it at the same level, you will have to add cards on the oracle, on the Tree Whisper Oracle, because they are thicker cards. So obviously, you know, the thickness varies between the 3 of them. Really amazing, these 3 together. I'm so excited about being able to work with these 3. I'm really looking forward to do a lot of deep dives, and working also with the Death Doula, the rituals that accompany the deck, which you can also find in the booklet or the guidebook that comes with it. Very interesting. So absolutely stoked by these 3. I also wanted to show you the fact that I received this really beautiful, absolutely gorgeous tarot bags by the Tarot Bag Ladies. That is going to be the future home of my Tree Whisper Oracle. So I believe it is the perfect size for it, slightly taller, let's say, than other tarot bags, or maybe it is the same size, but it does fit this one. So it just, look at this. Isn't this just absolutely perfect? I really love it. It's just the right bag. As I said, the Tarot Bag Ladies, so they have this really lovely shop. I always make sure to put the link to their Facebook page in the description box below. But they are based in Queensland, Australia, but they do ship overseas. So if you want to check out what they do, it is absolutely superb. And as I said, this is the perfect size for this oracle, so I'm very happy about that. And also I received another couple of goodies, and I'm really happy about them, because this is a really gorgeous present and something that has a lot of meaning for me. So this is this friend of mine. She's also a Starlight member, and she knows how important the star card is for me, and so she got me this you know, this tarot. I don't know if you can see. So this is a pendant, okay, with a chain and a pendant, and this is indeed the star card. Let me just angle it in such a way that you can see, because through the camera it's not exactly clear. So this is definitely the star card, and it's funny that there is a keyword at the bottom of this, and it says hope. So it's basically representing hope as a keyword. There are many keywords that I could have chosen for the star card, but I do love the fact that they chose the hope keywords, because it is the one that I would definitely, let's say, it's the first thing that comes to mind when I think about the star card. So I was really, really spoiled by this person, because I got so many goodies, and I'm really, really excited about every one of them. But now let's move on to another deck that I received a couple of days ago, but I waited because I wanted to open it with you guys. And so this is the Supernova Tarot by Federico Salis. It's a Lo Scarabeo deck. It's one of those decks that is, I think they call it special edition, deluxe edition, I'm not entirely sure. It does come in a 2-part box. Let me just open this without cutting myself. Okay, so let's have a look. It's a very interesting kind of art style. The reason why, so it came with a bit of a ding here. It is a deck that I bought from Amazon US, so I honestly don't even know what the process of returns is for these for purchases from Amazon US rather than Amazon Australia. It doesn't necessarily bother me. It is a bit of a ding here, but so be it. It would have been, I strongly believe that it comes because of something that happens during transport. I don't think that it was shipped out like that, and so be it. I mean, it would have been great to have it perfect, but to be honest with you, that is really not a deal breaker for me. I can barely see it. I'm just talking about it because I literally just saw it when I was opening the deck. The reason why I got this deck was because I actually saw it. I believe I receive every year or maybe twice a year the catalog from Lo Scarabeo, and it was on the catalog and I was going through it, and there's a few decks. Oh my goodness, by the way, I'm going to film a video with my most anticipated decks of the second part of 2024, because I have to say Lo Scarabeo did the second part of this year, but also a couple of decks that were produced in the first part of the year. It's just that they take a long time to be distributed around the world. They really upped the ante. I mean, it feels like they really competed with US games, even though obviously they have different products, different quality to them, and they also target different creators. But it's really amazing what they're doing. I cannot wait for a couple of the new decks to be released and sent over. So this is it, Tarot Supernova, Federico Salis. I just, when I saw it, it reminded me so much of a very old deck, one of the very first decks that I ever bought. And I felt like they had very similar vibes. So let's go through this deck and let's look at it, and then I'll compare it to the other deck that prompted me to buy it, to see whether I was right or not. So as always, they come with these guidebooks, booklets. There's one spread. Okay, fine. And then there is, let me see how many pages with the English titles or the English meaning of the cards. Let's see, Pentacles, yep. And then obviously, okay, we got around 50 pages in English, so I imagine more or less the same content for other languages as well. We got Italian and Spanish, and that's it. So it's English, Italian, and Spanish. We all know what Lo Scarabeo does, so it's not a big deal. What I wanted to double check is how much information we actually get on the cards. It doesn't look like is a lot, but in any case, let's have a look at the cards first, and then we'll double check the information that we've been given, because sometimes these decks actually take their time when it comes to the guidebooks. They write something that resonates more than just the usual little white book that you can get on any other tuck box from Lo Scarabeo. Even though I have to say, even in those cases, there were a couple of decks. Perhaps I'm thinking about the Circe Tarot. That was really interesting when looking at the little white book. And it was a tuck box, if I'm correct, and not one of the deluxe products. So obviously it comes with, oh, these are the backs, by the way. See, that's one of the reasons why I actually like it. I really love the contrasting colors, and I love how there is some sort of a circus feel to the cards that I'm not entirely sure that I'm correct in identifying it that way, but this is what it feels to me, and I actually like it. So, okay, we've got this one, and then we proceed with the cards. Okay, well, this is a bit whimsical, but I like also the fact that there seems to be in most of the cards, you do have some kind of borders, but they're not necessarily strict borders in the sense that you do have the image from the center of the card that is actually going off the over the borders. For example, in here with the feather. And so it's kind of an interesting art style. Yes, it does feel like we're looking at performers here. I don't know why. They have this sense of, also, you know, looking at the Empress in this case, it looks like it's a seductress, like she's breaking the fourth wall, looking directly at the reader, at us, and inviting us in. And the Emperor. So there is a sense of the 70s, I believe, in the colors, the color palette that has been chosen, but also in the art style itself. On the one hand, on the other hand, it feels like this is, it's got some Sergio Toppi kind of vibes. And if you're not familiar with Sergio Toppi, so Sergio Toppi is an illustrator, an Italian illustrator. It has been illustrating a few tarot decks throughout the decades. One of them is called the Primordial Tarot, although originally it was called Tarocchi dell'Origine, so the Origins Tarot, from the 90s. And I'm actually after the deck because it's got a different kind of layout. But Sergio Toppi was also the one that made the Universal Tarot, and this, to me, has a lot of those original kind of vibes. So there is a modern feel to the cards, but at the same time, we are not thinking modern 2024. So right now, I'm thinking, at least this is what it's given me, the vibes of the 70s. Even, you know, when we're looking at the maybe the fashion style of, you know, the characters, although of course we don't see much clothes in here. What we do see here, so this is really 70s to me. Is it just me? I don't know. I mean, let me know what you think in the comments below. Obviously not this one. I think it's a bit of a mix between that. I love this Two of Cups. That's really beautiful. So there's some kind of irreverence to the cards as well. This is definitely platform boots from the 70s. Or is it the 60s? You will excuse me, I am so sorry. I grew up with the idea that the 70s were kind of recycling the fashion from the 60s with a few different changes to them. So I don't actually know whether I'm looking at the 60s or the 70s here. I am so sorry. I'm terrible at these kind of things. I've never really been into fashion. And yes, I know I'm Italian. And yes, I know I should know about fashion. And yet I don't. But this is reminding me of, you know, those diviners from the circus as well. Definitely 70s swimsuit attire. This is more like a jester kind of suit. These are the court cards, by the way. So I like that we've got the kings before the queens. That is an interesting take. And then the suit of pentacles. See, this is probably 50s instead. Okay, I am officially wrong, even though I keep on thinking that these shoes are from the 70s. But I feel we could probably say that there's a little bit of a mix of decades when it comes to the fashion. Okay, let's put it this way. And let us all be safe. And let me just say, these are first impressions, obviously. So you're hearing what comes to my mind by looking at these cards. And I have to say, I actually like it. I actually really like it. I feel that there is a lot more to this deck than what meets the eye. And I actually really enjoy the minors as well. It is an RWS clone. We were not expecting anything different from that. But even in an RWS clone, you can also take your own perspective, your own way of interpreting, and then reproducing the cards on paper. So this is Elvis to me. This is it. Does this look like Elvis to anyone else? Because this is driving me insane. Am I hallucinating? This is Elvis, right? You know what? Let me just have a look. I don't think that they'll say anything about the character, but let me just have a look at what it says for the King of Wands. So we have the King of Wands, confident, enthusiastic, and assertive. It's the king. Well, we do call Elvis the king, right? Radiating in all his magnificence. Think of him as a dynamic force and channel that energy into a whatever situation prompted this card's appearance. This is the mindset we should adopt toward our relationships, work, or personal aspirations. It is time to make a bold statement and perhaps raise our voices a little. Let's defy convention, break free from the norm, and showcase our determination while keeping arrogance at bay. Okay, it does not talk about Elvis, but it looks like Elvis to me, and honestly, I would also think of Elvis as the personal, the person, so the performer, as the King of Wands. In any case, I welcome all comments, so if you think otherwise, please let me know. Yes, we also have the usual pursed heart for the Three of Swords. It's okay, but then we've got the neon sign for the Four of Swords. It's very interesting because the neon sign, it's a hand which is actually holding a heart, which seems to be an attempt at reconciling these two energies, because we're talking about the Four of Swords, so the alchemical element in this case is air, but at the same time, when we show a heart, we think about water, and we think about the Suit of Cups. So that's interesting. The Five of Swords, very beautiful. Oh yes, you know me, I love Venice, and every time that there is a kind of an idea to the Six of Swords pointing to Venice and the gondola, I'm happy. I am very well aware that this might not be a gondola, but this seems to be pointing at the fact that it could be. In fact, I'm just gonna double check and check out whether it does refer to Venice or not. Even if it's not, it doesn't matter, because I actually really like that card. So Six of Swords, it's a great time for learning and personal growth. To make it happen, we need to set new goals or transition toward intellectual maturity. While the journey may pose challenges, let's not rule out the possibility of leaving behind a less favorable landscape than what lies ahead. Sure, there's some risk involved, but it's an investment that's definitely worth making. It doesn't mention Venice. I do believe that we may see it as referring to Venice. It's also because the character is using a staff in order to navigate, so it could be that. And the Seven of Swords, Eight of Swords, that's a beautiful card. I love the color palette. Is this David Bowie? I am so sorry. This looks to me like it's David Bowie, but the noise is not. This is not Bowie's noise. It's just a hairstyle. I'm just gonna say that. It's the hairstyle. And I could be completely wrong. And if I am, you're probably yelling at the screen right now. No, of course it's not Bowie. It is such and such. Sorry, I don't know. And of course we still have that one, that card, so the Queen of Swords. I love the butterflies on the King of Swords, or the dress of the King of Swords. Really love this. I like this deck. Honestly, I like it. I know that, I don't know, now I promised you that I was going to tell you whether it does look or it feels like the vibe of that deck before, so I'm just going to show you the deck that I was talking about. So the deck I was talking about is this one, Carta Marzia 184, which is also called, in different edition, is called the Cagliostro deck. I know that it looks Egyptian, absolutely, and the cards also look Egyptian because that is the theme of the deck. This was a very old edition by, is it Modiano? Yes, by Modiano, so it's an Italian printer as well. I don't know whether they're still in print or not. These decks sell for a lot of money now, or at least I've seen them selling for a lot of money. Not this one, not the Cartomanzia 184, but the Cagliostro Tarot, which is exactly the same. So I don't know, let's just, of course the minors are pips, so we're not looking at the same kind of energy between the minors, but if you just give me 1 second, I'm just going to show you the majors. Okay, so I didn't put the majors back in order simply because that's not exactly what I wanted. I didn't want to compare the cards because I thought that the cards were reminding, you know, the Fool with the Fool, etc. It's just that I do believe that there is some kind of a similarity that goes on between these two decks. And mind you, when I thought that there was this kind of similarity, it's because I felt like they were using a very similar kind of art style, very similar kind of color palette. And I had, of course, known this one before because I have used it many times before. It's one of my most used decks by many years because I bought it well, decades ago. But at the same time, I didn't know specifically the Supernova Tarot, and it was just a hunch. I thought that, you know, there could have been these similarities. Obviously, we're looking at different sizes when it comes to the cards, and where we can strongly feel the sense of the Egyptian symbology in the Cartomancia 184. On the other hand, we don't have that when it comes to the Supernova Tarot. But I really strongly believe that I wasn't 1000% mistaken, let's put it this way. I do feel that there is some kind of okay, sorry, but isn't it interesting that I actually pulled the Devil card together with the Hierophant card, and these two look really similar when it comes to the colors and the art style, and also the way in which the characters are depicted in the card. So really, I don't know, it's kind of shocking. I might be the only one that feels this way, but I really do believe, and even this one, you know, the way in which the character in the star card in the Cartomancia 184 is very similar also to the pose, at least of the character in the World card of the Supernova Tarot. It's not the same author, not the same publisher, decades, difference of decades between the publication of the two, but I just had this feeling, and I promised at the beginning of the video I would have told you whether I was going to stick to my guns or not, and I have to say I do, because I really believe that those two are very similar. And I cannot wait to use this, because obviously this is literally first impression. I have opened it for the very first time in front of the camera, so I'll let you know when I start using it what I think about it. And another deck that recently came into my collection is the Black Sea Tarot. So this is by Theresa Hatch, very prolific tarot and oracle decks creator, also the creator of the White Sage Tarot, and there's also a couple of oracle decks. I believe one of them is called the Nature's Quest, another one is called in a different way, I don't remember, sorry about that. But in any case, definitely not unknown, quite popular, very recognizable kind of art style. This is also published by US Games. This is from this year, only just became available in Australia, which is awesome, because at least, you know, we may have to wait 6 months, but at least sooner or later we will get to see these decks coming, being available here. And so, as I always say, when a publisher is finally doing something right, we always need to praise them, because, you know, this is called conditioning. This is training. We're training them to be a good publisher. So the Black Sea Tarot, I got this deck because I watched a couple of walkthroughs on YouTube or a few photos on Instagram, and I thought to myself, this is what I always wanted. It is a deck that is very similar to the White Sage Tarot when it comes to the art style. But it is a tarot deck, and it's a full size. It's not like the White Sage Tarot, which is now only available in a tin size. I know of a couple of people who have the original indie deck by Theresa Hatch, the White Sage Tarot, and it used to come in a more or less a standard tarot size. However, what the problem was, because I actually seen it with my own eyes, what the problem was that the cards themselves, imagine if this one were of a normal size, the part at the bottom with the white band and the titles was really big. in the economy or the real estate of the card. And so when we're looking at this deck and we feel like we want a bigger deck because we want to look at the drawings a bit better, or for whatever reason, I just have you know that even the indie deck, which was a standard tarot size, will be a little bit disappointing because the images, even though yes they are slightly bigger than what you can see here in a Tarot 19, they're not that much bigger. And so that was a little bit frustrating, but it also means that I don't have to spend $300-400 to buy the indie edition, because that's what it sells for nowadays. And so when I heard that Teresa was coming up with this deck, I actually looked at it and I was really happy, because the cards are standard size, but it does look a little bit like the White Sage Tarot. And so I wonder if I can actually use them in the same way. Okay, this box is really tight, by the way. Finally, I can open it. So I wonder if they are so similar that I'm actually gonna end up using them exactly the same way, for the same reason, let's say, or in the same kind of practice or place in my practice that the White Sage Tarot has. Let me just open this. Okay, so we're having a look now at the guidebook. It looks very that's actually very good. So obviously, like the White Sage Tarot, we do have an association with the chakra, as you can see that. And I think I saw a card, this one here. Yes, we do have the chakra association, that we've got the number of chakra, we got the symbol of the chakra, and the name in Sanskrit, and also the correspondences. So for example, the Anahata chakra, which is the heart chakra, is represented by the color green. It's referring to the center of the heart, and also points to the connection between the heart and the mind. And at the same time, we have an association with the minors, so this is referring to the suit of swords. Love it. Thank you so much, Teresa. For once, people actually understand that the suit of swords is not made out of really cold people. We do have a heart, and there's always a connection between the heart and the mind. Really love that. But then I'm kind of trying to understand. So Manipura is the wands, which is fine, which is the solar plexus. Svadhisthana is the pelvis center, which is the suit of cups, which, okay, I get it, it makes sense. It's more like a gut feeling. And Muladhara, okay, the Muladhara is the root chakra with the pentacles, which is very grounded, etc. Love it, absolutely love the associations. I really, really strongly believe that this is very well done, very well thought of. And these are the backs, by the way, which are reversible. And this is a crystal grid, one of those that you can put your crystals on. And just to go back, so what have we got here? When we look at the arcanas, the major arcanas, for example, we got the star, and we got the upright meaning, and we've got the reversed meaning, and also we have a couple of, yeah, okay, the references related to the chakra as well. We don't have a lot of expansions of text on that, but it's fine. We like it. Thank you so, so much. I'm really, really happy about this deck. So let's have a look at the cards without much further ado. By the way, the usual US Games, fantastic cardstock that, you know, it really, the cards do not stick one to the other. It feels like a charm. You can really play with this, you know, it's very easy to use. This is one of the decks that tarot readers always point to when we point at the things that we need whenever we are reading a lot with the deck. It does have a slightly bigger kind of band, white band at the bottom than I would prefer, but I don't mind. This is not a deal breaker. The cards are standard tarot size, so I'm actually quite happy about them. And then the association of the animals, I mean, it's always personal. I believe that it never bothered me that some animals associated with the cards in the White Sage Tarot did not necessarily correspond to my associations, but I don't mind, because there's always a meaning, there's always something that I can recognize, whether it comes to the symbols, for example, in the cards. I will always know that this is referring to the Justice card because of the scale, for example, and the sword. Or this is the Hangman, but in this case the sloth is perfect for the Hangman. And so Death, of course, with the Rebirth. Temperance, of course, with the movement between the water in the 2 cups. And I'm loving the Devil, by the way. Really cute. The Tower card. You will notice that I don't even venture and try and say the name, although I do know that this is a cat, because I am actually really terrible. I do know the names of these animals in my native language. I don't necessarily know. This is an otter. I believe it's an otter. I might be wrong. And obviously this is a turtle. Are these meerkats? Probably. Puma or lioness. Badger? Is it a honey badger or a something else? I don't want to say something stupid, so I'm not gonna say it, okay? But you will know what they are. It's a beautiful fox. I love that. Okay, so we got for the code cards, we have for the 4 code cards in the wands, we've got a fox. And so I'm expecting to see, well, this is the 2 of cups, and I absolutely love this card. So these are the koi carps, very, very expensive types of carp fishes that are venerated actually in Japan. These are really expensive. And I'm just wondering whether we also have 3, 4 cards with the same animal. Yes. So these are seals. Am I right? These are seals. Really beautiful expression on their faces as well. I like it. And I like it because it's animal water, so obviously we do recognize the chemical element at play when we look at this. I love the fact that there is no pierced heart in the 3 of Swords, even though we do see a red heart and there's a couple of spikes here, but at least there is an effort to make it look slightly different. That is an interesting 4 of Swords with the peace sign, for example. That's a pelican, I believe. And there's a couple of cups. Oh no, this is a dwarf. Sorry, I only got it now, as you can see. And okay, but that is interesting because it looks like the beak of the pelican is actually the sword that is pointing at the pelican, the same way in which 3 swords are pointing at the person that is resting, the knight that is resting in the 4 of Swords. We don't have a gondola in the 6 of Swords, but it's okay, it's fine, we love it anyway. And then I just want to see, okay, so we got the hummingbird on the code cards for the swords. And I'm okay with that because yes, we're pointing at the sky, we're pointing at something that refers to the element of air. So I get it and I actually like it. And I am curious to see what the core cards for the pentacles are. So let's have a look. Is that a hedgehog? I could be completely wrong. I think it's a hedgehog. Oh my goodness, look how cute this is. Oh my goodness, this is so cute. It's adorable. Even this one is adorable because it's eating a donut. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. I love this deck. I'm so happy that I've got it. I really, really love it. And I'm happy because it's full size. It's got the same vibe of the White Sage. I'm really happy about this deck, I have to say. I'm really, really happy about this deck. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you have this deck? When you have this deck, do you think you're going to get rid of the White Sage or you're going to keep it because it's in a tin can format? I think I'm going to keep both of them because of that. They are 2 different sizes, so perhaps the tin can will come with me when I travel. You never know. But let's move on to another deck now. Okay, so this is the other deck that came into my collection recently, and I wanted to talk about this deck because I don't see it around and I don't understand why. There is, I believe, there's a little bit of decks by Hay House because there's so many and they do publish decks quite regularly. I feel like many of them actually fall through the cracks. They don't get noticed, they don't get a lot of love from the tarot community, and I've actually looked at a few of these in the past few months and I came out with a couple of them which I really like and enjoy. And I have no idea about this one. This is the Guides of the Hidden Realm Oracle written and illustrated by Colette Baron-Reid. So you will know that Colette doesn't always write and illustrate her decks. This is going to be really interesting. It's a 44 card, so it's what we want. And the reason why I bought it in the first place was because it reminds me so much of, and it could be just personal, it could be just me, but it does remind me a lot of the Portraits Oracle by Deborah Koff Chapin. I think she's called. Apology if that name is pronounced in the wrong way. So Deborah is also teaching a technique of painting which is called touch painting. This is not the same technique, I don't think so. I may have to read about it, but I really don't. This is simple painting, I believe, but it does remind me about those faces. So if you're not familiar with that Oracle deck, it's very powerful, but it's not that easy to get, or at least not in Australia. And it's rather expensive. It's a very large deck as well. So Deborah is also, so Deborah Koff Chapin, the one that made the Portraits Oracle, is also the creator of the soul cards, and maybe you're more familiar with the soul cards. The technique, the touch painting is the same. But getting back to this deck, because that's the one that I am going to show you and not the other deck. So this is supposed to be, as you can imagine from the title, Guides of the Hidden Realm. So it's all about guides. And I'm very curious about it because I was actually looking for a deck like this that would give me a bit of an insight on how spiritual guides can actually manifest themselves, how they work. And so this is the guidebook, by the way. So we've got, okay, we got imagine, okay, how this oracle will serve you, how to work with this oracle. It's the usual, more or less. And then we got the cards and their meanings. I thought there would have been some kind of spread that we could use. It doesn't look like there is, which is absolutely fine. It doesn't matter. We may probably pull one card. How this oracle will serve you. The central theme of this oracle card deck is compassionate guidance. Guidance is what I wanted, so I'm actually happy. Whether or not you believe that these beings are real, the messages are designed to help you navigate your journey, stay in alignment with realizing your greatest dreams and intentions, attract and create better relationships, and offer more harmony, fulfillment, and meaning to your life. Absolutely stoked with that. Really happy. Thank you. That's exactly what I was after. So I am rather happy. How to ask the right questions. That's also really interesting. What am I not seeing when it comes to my next career step? Obviously, this is a way in which you would approach a guide, a spiritual guide. So I'm really happy that we got a couple of questions. That was what I was hoping to find when I was talking about a custom spread, but this is just as good. So I'm rather happy with that. And it does give you a few ways to read the cards. So one card reading, there you go. There are spreads as well. It's just that I couldn't see them in the index. 2 cards reading, 3 cards reading, and another version of the 3 cards reading. And now it's your turn, and it talks about the cards. Really gorgeous. So far I'm quite happy. So Serenity Out of Exile, key concepts, and it gives you a couple of keywords. And then it talks about the card a bit, which is very interesting. You can also read them reversed if you so wish, if that's your thing. And now we move on to the next card and so on. Really interesting so far. I have a very, very positive feel about this deck. These are the backs, I believe. Not the best backs I've ever seen, but that's okay. It does, I suppose it doesn't really matter, but if you do read them in reverse, you will see that they look slightly different when you read them in reverse. So they're not entirely reversible. I mean, you could just overlook the fact that they don't look the same reversed. It doesn't matter. It's just that if you do read reversals, this may bother you a little bit because you will be able to tell whether a card is upright or reversed even from the backs. As I said, it doesn't matter to me. I do not shuffle. I read reversal, but I do not shuffle reversals. I decide whether to read a card in reverse or upright depending on the position of the card in the spread, and also depending on the cards around it, etc. So let's have a look a bit close up about the cards themselves. I can already tell there's so much intensity that comes out of the brightness and the saturation of the colors. Really love this, my goodness. So we've got not just the title, like you can see here, for example, card number 2 says Zenith at the peak, but we also have the keywords here. That was something I was afraid of because the titles don't always necessarily give me an indication on how to read the card, but when you do see the keywords as well, then you can choose which one resonates for you. So this one, for example, says victory, achievement, tangible, abundance. Great, amazing, love that. I do associate with the color red, for example, as well. The river dances to the sea, flow state, trusting in the adventure with the green. Treasures in the deep and dark with shadow work, healing old wounds, magnificent. Really, really strong cards so far. I really enjoy them, really like them. Absolutely powerful, wonderful. Holding space for love. This one is different because their eyes are closed, so non-judgment. That's why the eyes are closed. Non-judgment, discernment, self-acceptance. Great, I love that. And this is all eyes. So the eyes of mystery, uncharted territory, deep knowing. Fantastic. May I say I have goosebumps? May I say that I have goosebumps? My goodness, these are really powerful. I understand that this may not be for everyone because the characters here have really large eyes, and I know that there will be people that will feel slightly uncomfortable while looking at these cards, but my intent on buying this deck was to see whether I could use it to replace the other deck I was talking about, so the portraits. Or the portals, sorry, it's called the Oracle of Portals by Deborah Kopf Chapin, and I feel that this is actually not just a really good replacement deck, but it's actually giving me a lot more because of the keywords. Really, death reclaims a life, my God. So natural endings, grief, letting go, the sacred quality of death. How beautiful is this card? That's amazing. The alchemy of poison, transformational lessons, reclaiming personal choice, radical forgiveness. Amazing, amazing. The rainbow colors. The colors are amazing. This card is, if you don't like eyes on a card, you will hate this card because it's all eyes. And it says all eyes are open. So you're being seen. There is absolutely no way you can hide from this card. But perhaps that is actually a good thing. So let me just pick it up. It might be quicker this way. I love the fact that there's also symbols in the card. It's not just faces, but you know, the sea corals here, and there's a fish, for example. Enough for now and always. This figure has got 2 different colors on their face. And then I believe this is Sanskrit. This should be Sanskrit. I'm not entirely sure because I do not speak Sanskrit, but I think I can recognize it when I see it. I could be wrong. It could be just symbols. Listen to me, just try and find my way around the deck. It doesn't look like Sanskrit. I am so sorry. I probably said something really stupid. It did look like it, but I now realize these are just symbols. Beautiful symbols, really beautiful symbols, but just symbols nonetheless, which is absolutely fine because we like them. So very potent deck, very, very powerful. I'm quite happy that I will be able to work with this deck. Very, very happy indeed. It does look at, it might actually pair well with the Bonfire Tarot because of the saturation of the colors. There's just one that comes off the top of my head, but there might be more decks. I just need to have a look, and I will find a couple of decks that I will like to pair with this one. But for now, this, as I said, is just unboxing and first impressions, and I am quite happy about this deck as well. I have to say, all of the decks that came into my collection recently, not just in this video, but also when I did the most recent unboxing with the Cowgirls and Aliens Oracle deck, and then there was another couple of tarot decks. I really like them. I think that even though I have considerably slowed down the rhythm of my buying, at the same time I have become a little bit more aware of my choices depending on my taste, and so I'm making better choices, which is to say nothing, because perhaps the next haul will be something that I don't necessarily vibe with, and I will go back to square one, but it doesn't matter. I really love these decks. But let me know in the comments below if you have any of these decks, if you have a very particular way to use them. I'm always interested to know. But for now, have a great day.